Welcome to Aral Tarlac here on RTV Tarlac Channel 26. Simulcast over DZTC Radyo Pilipino Tarlac. I am Mary Ann, your teacher broadcaster for Science Grade 8. At the end of our discussion, you are expected to explain why Philippines are prone to typhoon. If you have questions, feel free to send me a message. My cell phone number is 09330 I know it is a holy hour, but all you must do is to calm yourselves and focus your hearts and mind as we travel the world of science, where exploration, discoveries, inventions, and technology are in. Are you excited? Of course, I know you are excited to learn more. That is great. So, what are you waiting for? Get your pen, your science notebook, and your compendium of notes, and let us begin learning. Before we start our lesson for today, let us have first recall the previous topic. I have numerous questions for you. What is tropical cyclone? Tropical cyclones are warm core low pressure system associated with a spiral inflow of mass at the bottom level and spiral outflow at the top level. Next, what are the names of tropical cyclones in other parts of the world? Tropical cyclone in other parts of the world, these are referred to as hurricanes, typhoons, or simply tropical cyclones depending on the region. In the North Atlantic, Eastern North Pacific, and South Pacific Ocean, they are called hurricanes. In the Arabian Sea and Western South Indian Ocean, the name is cyclonic. In the eastern part of the Southern Indian Ocean, it is willy-willy. And in the Western North Pacific Ocean, they are called typhoons. And lastly, how typhoon develops. Typhoons start as a tropical thunderstorm. The strong winds pull in moisture from the oceans. Second, thunderstorms will convert the moisture into heat. Such heat causes more air to flow to the center of the storm, causing evaporation. Third, all the heat and air flow toward the eye, creating the typhoon. Before we begin, I just want to hear something from you. How often is your place visited by typhoons in a year? Yes, you are correct. Our places visited typhoons to an average of 20 tropical cyclones annually. Can you name the typhoons that left too much destruction of properties in your place? Exactly. There are lots of typhoons that really brought too much destruction in our places, like Typhoon Pablo in 2012, Typhoon Yolanda in 2013, and Typhoon Glenda in 2014, which really brought so much pain and tears to people who experienced these strong typhoons. It took away their properties, businesses, infrastructures, and others. In our place, we experienced two recent typhoons, namely Typhoon Rolly and Typhoon Ulysses. What was your experiences during these two recent typhoons? Oh, sorry to hear that. You know what? We had different experiences of typhoons. But the good thing is, we always have the courage to rise because we have God who can control everything. Today, we will talk about why Philippines is prone to typhoon. Do you have an idea about this? Mmm, that is a good idea. Did you know that approximately 20 tropical cyclones enter the Philippine area of responsibility yearly? Area which incorporates parts of the Pacific Ocean and the Philippine archipelago. Among these cyclones, 10 will be typhoons, with 5 having the potential to be destructive ones. Tropical cyclones or typhoons entering the Philippine area of responsibility are given a local name by the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration, or what we call as PAG-ASA, which also raises public storm signal warnings as considered necessary. The Philippines is prone to tropical cyclones due to its geographical location, which generally produce heavy rains and flooding of large areas and strong winds, which result in heavy casualties to human life and destructions to crops and properties. Another reason is location. The Philippines is in a large Pacific Ocean region where many of the Earth's volcanic eruptions and earthquakes occur, or the Ring of Fire. It is also in a weather pathway near the equator, known as the Typhoon Belt. This makes the Philippines one of the most disaster-prone countries in the world. Typhoon Haiyan, known as Typhoon Yolanda, was the strongest tropical cyclone to ever make landfall and the deadliest typhoon in the history of the Philippines. The first letter of the tropical cyclones in the Philippines follows that of the alphabet. If the number of the tropical cyclones that hit the Philippines in one year exceeds 25, a supplementary list of names is used. Previously, the names of the tropical cyclones are after the names of women. But in the past few years, the names can be either men or women. PAR refers to designated area in the Western Pacific where PAG-ASA is tasked to monitor tropical cyclone occurrences. PAG-ASA issues tropical cyclone bulletins every 6 hours for all tropical cyclones within PAR that have or anticipated to make landfall within the Philippines, or 12 hours when cyclones are not affecting land. To help citizens prepare for the attack of the storms, PAG-ASA issues public storm warning signals that indicate the intensity. The public storm warning system is as follows. Public storm warning signal number 1, the first signal indicates that the area affected should expect recurrent rains within at least 36 hours. Winds of 30 km per hour to 60 km per hour. Public storm warning signal number 2. The second warning signal is raised in areas that will experience winds of 60 km per hour to 100 km per hour within at least 24 hours. Public storm warning signal number 3. When the third warning signal is raised, People are advised to seek shelter inside strong buildings, evacuate low-lying areas, and stay away from coasts and riverbanks as moderate to heavy damage is expected. Winds of 100 km per hour to 185 km per hour are expected within at least 18 hours. Public Storm Warning Signal number 4. The fourth storm warning signal indicates that a very intense typhoon with winds of more than 185 km per hour may be expected within at least 12 hours. Public Storm Warning Signal number 5. This recently added storm warning signal is raised when a super typhoon will affect an area. Very powerful winds of more than 220 km per hour may be expected in at least 12 hours. To further help citizens prepare for heavy rains and flooding, Pag-asa also has the following color-coded rainfall or storm surge advisory system. Yellow rainfall advisory. Citizens should expect flooding in low-lying areas as 7.5 to 15 mm of rainfall or 8 liters per square meter per hour is expected within 1 hour and is likely to continue in the next 2 hours. There is also a possibility of a storm surge of 0.5 to 1 meter high. Everyone is advised to monitor the weather condition because the rainfall warning could be raised. Next, orange rainfall advisory. Intense rains of 15 to 30 mm or 15 to 30 liters per square meter per hour are expected within 1 hour, and flooding is considered a definite threat in communities under this alert. Rainfall is expected to continue in the next 2 hours, and storm surges 1 meter to 3 meters high are expected. The last one is red rainfall advisory. This rainfall advisory is used when downpours constitute an emergency. It is raised when the torrential rainfall is more than 30 mm within 1 hour or if it has continued for the past 3 hours and has risen to more than 65 mm or 30 liters per square meter per hour. Storm surges over 3 meters high are expected and will most likely cause severe damage to coastal and marine infrastructure. Serious flooding is expected in low-lying areas and evacuation to designated safe zone is recommended. Effects of tropical cyclone constitutes one of the most destructive natural disasters that affect many countries around the globe and exacts tremendous annual loss in lives and property. Its impact is greatest over the coastal areas, which bear the brunt of the strong surface winds. Storms induce tornadoes and flooding from heavy rains rather than strong winds that cause the greatest loss in lives and destruction to property in coastal areas. The storm surge is an abnormal rise of water due to a tropical cyclone, and it is an oceanic event responding to meteorological driving forces. Potentially disastrous surges occur along coasts with low-lying terrain that allows inland inundation, or across inland water bodies such as bays, lakes, and rivers. A freshwater flooding moving down a river due to rain generally occurs day after a storm event and is not considered a storm surge. This time, on your activity notebook, answer the following statement. Write true if the statement is correct, otherwise false if it is not correct. 1. Approximately 20 tropical cyclones enter the Philippine area of responsibility yearly. Again, approximately 20 tropical cyclones enter the Philippine area of responsibility yearly. 2. Pag-asa issues public storm warning signals that indicate the intensity. Again, Pag-asa issues public storm warning signals that indicate the intensity. 3. The Philippines is prone to tropical cyclones due to its geographical location. Again, the Philippines is prone to tropical cyclones due to its geographical location. 4. The wind speed of public storm warning signal number 1 is 60 km per hour to 100 km per hour. Again, the wind speed of public storm warning signal number 1 is 60 km per hour to 100 km per hour. 5. Rainfall associated with tropical cyclones is both beneficial and harmful. Again, rainfall associated with tropical cyclones is both beneficial and harmful. Time's up. Let us check your activity. Number 1, true. Number 2, true. Number 3, true. Number 4, false, because the wind speed of PSWS number 1 is 30 to 60 km per hour. Number 5, true. Very good. It seems that you really listened attentively in our discussion today. To sum up with, the Philippines is prone to tropical cyclones due to its geographical location, which generally produce heavy rains and flooding of large areas and strong winds, which result in heavy casualties to human life and destructions to crops and properties. Thus, Pag-asa issues public storm warning signals to make the people prepare. Public storm warning signal number 1, it has its wind speed to 30 to 60 km per hour and is expected within at least 36 hours. Public storm warning signal number 2, wind speed of 60 to 100 km per hour and is expected within at least 24 hours. Public storm warning signal number 3, wind speed to 100 to 185 km per hour and is expected to at least 18 hours. Public storm warning signal number 4, wind speed of more than 220 km per hour and is expected within at least 12 hours. Now, I have a short trivia. Did you know that Pag-asa already released the regular set of names for tropical cyclones within the Philippine area of responsibility as of January 2021? The first tropical cyclone of the year starts with the name beginning in letter A as an auring for 2021. And so down the list as one disturbance succeeds another. The fifth year, 2025, will bring us back to auring. Another is, the names for typhoons are not random. Potential names are contributed to a central list by countries in the region where typhoons can take place. The names must be short, distinctive, and relevant to the region. The name for each typhoon is then chosen by the World Meteorological Organization's Regional Specialized Meteorological Center. in Tokyo. If a storm is particularly destructive, the name is retired and will not be used again. It seems that you really listened very well for today's lesson. But before we end, I will give you an assignment. Answer the question, how does Pag-asa warn the people of forthcoming typhoon? Again, how does Pag-asa warn the people of forthcoming typhoon? You may write it in your science activity notebook. I hope you learned a lot today. I am Teacher Mary Ann. And before we end, watch us live on Facebook. Like and share our Facebook page, RTV Tarlac Channel 26. And another to continue our trivia is that if a storm is particularly destructive, the name is retired and will not be used again. Therefore, there will never be Super Typhoon Haiyan or Typhoon Yolanda, which struck the Philippines in 2013. Haiyan was classified as a super typhoon because its sustained wind speeds reached 195 mph. And in 2015, Hurricane Patricia became the strongest tropical cyclone on record, with sustained winds of 200 mph. Until then, Super Typhoon Haiyan held that record. So, it seems that you really learned a lot today. I am Mary Ann, your grade 8 anchor teacher for today. Until next time!